Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there. Welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're with us here today. Joining me is Dr. Sheri Keffer.
Hey.
Dr. Jill Hubbard's in the house. She'll be in the studio momentarily, but great to see you, Dr. Sheri. You doing all right these days?
I'm doing grand. Glad to be here. Always love these shows. And you know what? You've been doing this a very long time. And we were just talking on the break how long we have been going and how much ministry and hope and help we've offered people over decades.
You know why we're still going? I think there might be 3 to 17 reasons. One is God's grace and mercy has allowed us to do that. 2, tremendous support and partnership with other people. And 3, people like you, Sheri, that said, you know what, I'm gonna have a practice. I'm gonna be on my own, but I'm gonna go be part of New Life and what they're doing. And so many people have been helped by you. I was just at our one of our workshops this past weekend, and I think 2 people said, you know, Sheri is absolutely my favorite. And being a narcissist, I asked them, am I not? No, I didn't. But really, you really do have a wisdom that people appreciate. And I knew from the very beginning when we took on this radio program that there were a lot of people smarter, wiser than me. And I'm so grateful that people like you and Jill have come along and have used your wisdom to reach people that tune in. And to that end, I'm going to go right to the phones. And I am going to go right to Sarah from Denver, Colorado, who listens on the internet. Sarah, you are on with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Sheri Keffer and Steve Arterburn here. Hi, and welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for all you do to help everyone.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thanks for letting us help you. And how could we go about doing that?
I just want to give a little bit of a back history. I have been working through an extensive childhood trauma experience of sexual abuse from the next door neighbor babysitter and my dad. From starting at age 5 to 8 is when that happened. The majority of it, however, the inappropriate interactions with my dad continued up until I was able to, as an adult, set some boundaries. I have since gone through a lot of therapy. I've definitely taken advantage of EMDR, CBT, DBT. I've been in therapy since about 1999 for it. And I am 12.5 years sober. I do everything I can to continue going forward with the best life I can. The reason for my question and my call today is that I have 2 questions. One is I took part in somatic breathing last night, and what that did was bring up a lot of body memory for me. And so today, consequently, I've been dealing with that with EMDR and prayer meditation, et cetera. But my question is that after everything I've processed, is it necessary to remember in order to move on from this abuse? I am really, quite frankly, done in dealing with him in my life. I currently live about 30 minutes away from him. And
why isn't?
Do you need to go to that?
Yeah, we got to go to a break. Why isn't your father in prison?
Okay.
What's going on with that?
There's no. First off, none of my counselors have ever asked me that question, and the abuse happened when I was so young. I mean, we're talking in the 70s, 80s.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you about all this in just a minute.
it had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Orange County, California, November 5th through the 7th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and what a tragic story, and it's not the first story that I've heard of someone being abused by a father into the adult years. I'm just going to, Jill, let's start with you, and let's try to provide some help here.
Well, Sarah, bless you, and for all of the work that you have done. I mean, I love your attitude of you are trying to live your best life and not allow this to rule you. I think, unfortunately, memories do surface. I'm not one, and Sheri, you may have a different view on this. I'm not one that thinks we have to go digging for something that we're not aware of and trying our hardest to dig it up, unless there is evidence. And when stuff comes up, then I think we deal with what comes up as it affects us in the present. And I think that at times we have to do a little more work. And I certainly hear you in saying that you're done. You're so done. And I don't think it means you've got to go back in and start over. But we learn through repetition, and we resolve things and heal as we kind of circle back around. So I always think that growth is not linear, that it's more like a coil that we're circling around. And every so often we kind of stumble into a pocket of stuff that we go, okay, I got to do a little more work here. But you're doing it at a different level. You're doing it with all the work you've already done. And so likely it doesn't take as long to move through and integrate the new pocket of stuff.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. I was just looking up your name, what it means, and it means noble woman or princess. And that is the name that God's given you. Mm-hmm. And you were not treated nobly. You were not treated and protected like a princess. You were harmed, and harmed by the neighbor and harmed by your dad, who is supposed to be the protector in your home. Actually, I agree with Jill. As a trauma therapist, I work very hard to avoid something called false memory syndrome, which is when you don't really see it's something's dissociated, but you kind of make up a narrative to try to put a label on what you think might have happened. I think that can really hurt us because we have enough stuff that we've experienced, and we don't need to add more to it. I think God created this brain of ours, this amygdala, this limbic system, is a kind of sacred holding tank to hold stuff. And if it comes up and out in your work, well, then you're ready to deal with it. But if it still holds it, it may be in heaven, girl, when you are greeted by your noble warrior, that you finally experience freedom from what's been held in that sacred space so that you could just function as a little girl with all that sexual abuse. But you're a hero to me. You're one of those folks that call us that I think give a lot of people hope to go, oh my gosh, look at all that she's been through and all that she's been working on. But when you had that somatic experiencing yesterday, do you know that when we're sexually abused, physically abused, but let's go sexual, that impacts us emotionally, spiritually, relationally, physically, and sexually. You're having a body memory. Now, you don't have to have a picture to go along with that in order to let your body process the hurt that it experienced. So you can just process that. My brother committed suicide.
Reassuring.
Yeah, my brother committed suicide last Christmas, and my EMDR therapist wasn't, thank you, sweet one, wasn't seeing people because of COVID. So I did a different type of work, body work, brain spotting. And I'll tell you something, I cried like a baby and felt things in my body. But it was a part of my healing. It was different. And you know what? It gave me some relief. So you're doing good, girl. You're doing good. It's okay.
Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you so much. And I have one question. Do I have to keep contact with him biblically? Do I have to continually try to I pray for him, and I do my best to bring Christ into any interaction that we do have as a quote-unquote family. But my question is, I want to cut him out of my life. And in doing that, I think I have to cut out my mother as well. And she is struggling with that. And so I'm caught in the middle of this because I do not, he's a narcissist. He's emotionally, mentally, and verbally abusive to her. And whenever I witness that, I put a stop to it, and he laughs at me.
So he's not repentant at all, or
he's still abusing?
Yeah, he's still abusing.
He's still abusing. He's mocking.
He's also had
Why do you
stroke,
think?
And
Why do you think?
Dementia has made it worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think he's not abusing other children?
Sir, that's a wonderful question, and I cannot answer that, and I do not know. I do know that he stays home a lot. It pains me to even go there on that one.
Yes, I know.
I don't know. What to do
and that's
with
why
that.
I'm trying to get you to just think about this a little bit.
But Sarah,
Go ahead.
it's not your responsibility to be his watchdog.
No.
You've been a victim. You've been a victim. And you know what? I work with trauma survivors that have had severe abuse like you, and some of them don't see their mom or dad. And it's okay.
Yeah.
You might need to see what that feels like, to have some really strong boundaries around seeing them, and do that for a while, and then go, does this feel okay with me? Does this
you can
feel
try
not
things out. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be an all or nothing.
And here's what I would do. I would say, Mom, I'm going to take a little break. Just make it a break. Now, that break might be a week, and it might be a year, but that way you don't, create a problem around the problem. You just,
Right. It doesn't have to
space.
be a big declaration.
This Christmas, we're gonna do something different this year. Don't worry, I'm just gonna take a little break, and that might be really a great way to do it. The other thing is you're not his watchdog, but I just wonder how much better you might feel if you called Child Protective Services and said, I want to explore something with you. This is what happened to me. He has never been treated, and now he's got dementia, probably less control. I don't know. I'm just asking. Or with your therapist, you say, I need to look at this thing that I don't even like to think about, but I don't know that any child is safe with him. So that's something for you to think about, okay?
It is a good food for thought, and I appreciate that input greatly.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you
we're so
very
sorry
much.
for what you have been through, and I'll tell you, it's
so hard. And
it's horrible.
Sarah, a lot of times sexual abuse survivors, you mentioned it on another show, Jill, we try to make our parents better. We feel like we have to take care of them. Because even when you were being sexually abused by him, he made you feel special, like somehow you were caring for him.
Right.
It's very twisted.
It is twisted.
Seductive. It's
Confusing.
wrong. And so that's why I have a really firm boundary with you on this call to say you're not responsible to take care of him. You're
At
not.
all.
You can relieve yourself
Well, and
from
there's
that
different
burden.
ways to have contact. You can talk to your mom on the phone if you desire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yep.
it's tough, it's hard, but there's progress to be made, and I really hope that you have the best person possible to deal with all of this that you're going through, Sarah. And I'm glad that you called, and I'm going to send you a copy of Intimate Deception, because this betrayal with a father like this, I'll send you Forgiving Your Father's Mother. I'll send you Healing is a Choice. We'll give you the healing package there, and hope and pray that something we've said has made some kind of...
What a precious woman. My goodness.
Yeah.
She's just
But-
worked so
yeah.
hard.
And
Very
it shows.
tough.
It shows,
does.
right?
I know.
All right, let's go to Chris, Fort Worth, Texas. KWRD is the station. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Doing okay. What's going on in your life today, my friend?
Well, first of all, I want to the question is going to be is I've read and done the workbook for Every Man's Battle, along with other things, and I've gone through counseling. I'm a 30-year sex addict in continuing recovery, and I went to prison, and when I got out, when I was in prison, my wife says, "Babe, it's gotten worse out here with the way the women dress." And I'm telling you, I try my hardest. I battle it every day. And I don't know if that's my thorn in my side for the rest of my life or what, but I've done everything that people have told me to do that are in books, and I still struggle. Some days are better than others, but I still struggle. But at the end of the day, God has done a miracle in my life where when I was in prison, I was able to mentor men through Every Man's Battle, and now me and my wife have a prison ministry where we mentor guys, and we just send out 25 books of Every Man's Battle because I know how much it helps me.
I'm really glad that you called, and we hear the emotion. You know, what I love is the fact that you're in tears over this. It's a brokenness that's there. And, you know, it's really hard when you're helping people in a certain area to get additional help in that area when you still struggle. And I'm just wondering if I could get your way paid to Every Man's Battle, if you'd be willing to go to Every Man's Battle.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to go. I thought because of other things that I've done in therapy that, because I did the workbook of Every Man's Battle, I did Pure Life Ministries, I did Man in the Mirror. I mean, they've all covered that.
But they've not been enough, and you never want to give up, even if Every Man's Battle weekend isn't life changing. You'd want to do more. But here's the thing.
Right.
Are you in any kind of group now?
Yes. I've been in group therapy I've been in group therapy because of my prison sentence, 2 years, and then while I was in there, and then now. And, I don't know if it's the devil's way, because when I was in prison, I got my AA in theology, my BA in biblical studies. And it's just, I think Satan sees what my wife and I's ministry is doing and how these guys are just changing and look forward to our letters. And it's like his way of attacking me, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say that that's true. Then we got to do more, and we've got to go deeper so that you're not struggling like this. So I want you to hang on. I'm going to get you into Every Man's Battle, and we'll get it paid for. You guys are doing a great work. You're a humble man. You've done your time, and now you're helping others. That's fantastic. And so just hold on. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible with the workbook that is the Sexual Integrity Workbook. I think that will help you. But before you go, I want you to hear whatever Jill and Sheri have to say. Any comments you guys have for him or encouragement?
Go ahead, Jill. I'll answer
well,
after that.
I just think, Chris, you are doing a lot of wonderful things, and because of that, I agree. You need to keep shoring yourself up, and sometimes people, when they're out on the front lines and doing leadership ministry, they need extra support behind them, just as we therapists often go to therapy because we're on the front lines with people. So I think Every Man's Battle is just another step in your growth and will give you more to offer to others as well as your own healing.
Yeah.
And I Chris, I just want to ask a quick question we get from our break. I want to know a little bit about how lonely you felt as a kid in your home and how much comfort you did not get.
We'll do that after this.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Talking to Chris, and he reminds me of the gentleman I met in prison who had essentially was in the midst of raping a 12-year-old girl, ongoing sex with a 12-year-old, and he became a Christian and walked down to the police station, turned himself in the next day, and then while in prison, he translated Every Man's Battle into Braille, and it's in the Library of Congress under his name. This is what this reminds me of. But Sherry, you had a couple of things you wanted to talk to Chris about.
It's an amazing story. It's kind of like Saul to Paul, right? And that's kind of what we were saying. You're a precious human being, Chris, and Jill said, wow, he made the most of being in prison to transform. But my question was just, about your growing up.
Okay, so I'm going to do this real fast because God gets all the glory and honor. Me and my wife just shared her testimony and touched a lot of people's heart. At age 10, I was abused. I was raised by an alcoholic father that always beat my mom. At 14 years of age, I saw my dad sexually abuse my sister. They got divorced. I came to know the Lord as my personal Savior, so I thought. And I got involved in church. And anyway,
so a ton, kind of like Sarah, the caller before. You're a sexual abuse survivor. You watched your dad beat your mom, and then your sister be sexually abused. I mean, there is so much pain there. And what's
yeah,
interesting?
That's not it. That's not it. What I want to get through this thing real quick is that then my daughter was taken away from her mother because she was sexually abused by her boyfriend, and then the reason why I went to prison is for indecency of a minor. So I have, thank God, I believe it. I mean, he's done a miracle in my life. But you would think, after what happened to me, after what I saw my sister go through, after what happened to my daughter, that I would have never done what I did. But
And you know what, Chris, I hear your heart, and that's kind of the confusion that comes as a sexual abuse survivor. Having done trauma work, I've done EMDR with those that have had have acted out on others sexually, whether it's pornography or they've acted out. And you know what? Do you know what I've discovered? One of their negative beliefs that gets wired in is this: I can't trust my judgment. And then also there's a negative belief that I'm shameful. And sometimes the looking at the women is not necessarily about their body parts. It's looking at them because it could be a replication, something that you're wanting. Growing up in a family like that, you were not seen. You were not heard. You were not needed. You were not loved. You were not safe. And that replication can be alive and well, and it can be manifesting in
it's like it has a life of its own almost. It's almost separate from us.
Yeah. So continuing to do some work, maybe doing some EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, around that impulse that you have to see if they can help you neutralize that, might be a way that you can go deeper into the work of getting healing for yourself.
We are pulling for you, buddy.
Yeah, well,
and I'll send you the Life Recovery Bible and that Sexual Integrity Workbook, and I'm going to get you into Every Man's Battle. Jill,
well, and I just look at how God has used this. I mean, my heart breaks for you in your acting out, but you were caught. You were sent to prison, and look at how it has turned around. So God has used this to redeem a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot.
Think of the people that are being touched by your life. What Satan meant for evil, you truly have turned it into something for good to be used by God. It reminds me of Chuck Colson. You know, Chuck Colson, Watergate, he goes to prison. And literally the guy could have walked out of prison and said, okay, that's behind me. I'm now going to go back and live my life and be a normal guy. But nope. He starts a ministry because he wanted to help prisoners. He embraced the prison experience, made it part of his story going forward. And today, millions of prisoners are going to be hearing about Jesus because of the ministry of prison fellowship that Chuck Colson started. That's what happens when we quit messing around with our sins and start allowing God to use the recovery from them to build our character and reach other people. It's pretty amazing to see that happen. All right, I'm glad that he called right now. I'm going to Amanda, who is from one of my favorite places. I get to do their share-a-thon every now and then. North Platte, Nebraska, KJLT, one of my favorite Goodwill stores right there in North Platte. How you doing?
Good.
How could we help today?
So I thank you for taking my phone call, but so my husband and I have a 16-year-old daughter, and she is dating. She's a junior. She's dating a senior in another town, and we are allowing her to hang out with him. Drive over to his home, but we keep getting backlash from her, like, other parents do so much more, you're so strict, why do I always have to have a door open, we're not going to do anything. Well, I don't sometimes know how to parent her right now. I'm like, just feel lost.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
It's the other people. It's the other people that don't know how to parent her. It's the others that don't know how to parent.
Well, that's not always true.
Well, that's not. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, Glad you called. We're going to help you right after this. Oh my goodness, these teenagers.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Of course, I'm broadcasting from Indiana. We're going all the way to North Platte, Nebraska. It's a great little city. Glad that you're there. The people at KJLT are just fantastic. Amanda has a daughter, and she's just complaining about these restrictions. Why can't you be more like other parents? Jill, why don't you get us started with them?
Okay, so I'm going to jump in, Amanda.
Can I just jump in one more time?
Sure.
Okay, so I've been told that I'm a helicopter parent, not just by my kids, but from other people. And when I grew up, I had no restrictions, pretty much. My sister got pregnant at 13. I did at 20. So we just really didn't have boundaries, and I just don't want our kids to go through so much hurt and life-changing events, and I don't know. I don't know what to do with her some days.
Okay, well, thank you for that added information. That helps, and I think getting input from people you trust and that you feel are credible, right? That they have maybe a similar belief system as you. I think that can be really helpful, because sometimes we just need to modify. We want to be careful not to be a reactionary parent, right? And sometimes we do that by going to the complete opposite extreme of our parents. And instead of looking at, okay, what's helpful and what's not helpful, right? And to be aware of our own anxiety, because kids feel their parents. You don't even have to say a word.
Right.
Like every sigh speaks volumes. And so you have to be aware of that, and you have to own it when it does flare up. And then is your husband around too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is. It's actually her stepdad, because their real dad walked out on them when she was super little.
Okay.
And he won't have any contact with them. But he's been amazing. We're a family of believers, and that's why I struggle.
By the way, you
I
don't
know
need
boundaries.
You don't need to explain that stepdad walking out thing. Just
the bio dad.
She's her he's her dad.
Well, right, but you have what I'm
is.
saying is you
He's
have a
amazing.
partner. You have at the very least someone you can bounce things off of, which is really helpful. And it's actually more helpful that her birth dad is not around. Because that intermittent stirring things up causes additional issues. So you can have a united front. I can totally relate. My kids thought I was the worst in terms of you've got to keep the door open and here are the boundaries and my thing was you get trust to the degree that you are trustworthy. Right? Trust is just not thrown out there, as well as the fact that God has given us these children, right? It's our job to guide. Now, to guide in an age-appropriate way, which means you give a little more freedom out as they rise to the occasion. And it's not based on an age necessarily. It's based on what you observe as their maturity level and their ability to have good judgment and make wise choices. But also being aware that there's a naivete that comes when your daughter says, we're not going to do anything. That may not be her intent, right? But you know who she is, you know her personality, and you know how those situations can occur. So that's why we take precautions. And so I think it's okay for your children not to like the rules. And part of being a good parent is that you want your children to be able to push back and say, oh, Mom, you're so strict. Okay, good. Yeah, yes, I am. Right? Yes, I understand, and I understand you don't like it. Nonetheless, this is our guideline here in our home. And when kids do veer off, then it's like what they're really crying out for is more guidance, right? The way to win freedom, and kids at that age, they want freedom. It's all about freedom and independence, right? So the way you get freedom is to cooperate, right? When you cooperate and you follow the rules and you make good choices, then you get more freedom. That's the way it goes. And so for you, Amanda, it's kind of holding the line, hearing them, and there have been times when I would go back and say, okay, I've reconsidered this. And then we talk about it and trying to get them to buy in and make some decisions together.
I have an idea. Go ahead, Sheri, and then I'll give my idea.
Okay. A quick question, Amanda. Is this daughter the one you got pregnant with outside of marriage with your first husband?
No.
Okay.
No. That's our son.
Okay, it's your son. Does your daughter know those stories?
No, I don't really talk negatively about their bio dad.
No.
Your
story to tell. The story about getting pregnant at 20, the story about your sister getting pregnant at 13, and really how real this fear is. It's like you've gone before her, and it's actually a trigger for her to it's your trigger for her to be right smack in the center of 13 and 20. I mean, you're probably feeling like a cat on a hot tin roof when she goes out, right?
Well, and my parents, I think, it's just me wanting them not to get hurt like I did. Because my parents were alcoholics. I got molested by babysitters and I protected my siblings like no other. Yeah. And I'm doing the same thing to my kids. And that's why people are like, you're such a hovering mom. You're so protective. And I'm like, I know. I don't know what else to do, though.
Yeah,
Here's an idea. Can I give my idea now?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. So, your husband, who is her dad, makes an appointment to have breakfast, lunch, preferably dinner with the boy, okay? And over dinner, he says, let me tell you why I'm here. Our daughter continues to say that we are a little too strict. And we hear her. We love her to death, And we don't think you'd want to do anything to hurt her, but sometimes, people do things that are hurtful. They don't mean to. But I'm just wondering, if we were to go ahead and be a little more lenient on our restrictions, would you be up for that? Could I trust you if we did that? Is that a good decision? Knowing long term, we want the best for our daughter. Would you be on board with that? A little less, but you take a little more responsibility? If I was that kid, I would be blown away by the invitation that if I am going to take a little more responsibility, these parents are going to give her a little more freedom. And if that wasn't enough to make her a little safer, no amount of strictness is going to prevent her from doing what might happen there. But I just want to throw that idea out to you. And then if it goes well, I think he would finish off that meeting by saying, hey, listen, I want to get together with you a month from now and let's see how things are going. Oh, my goodness. That's the way to do it. I mean, get involved with this boy.
I do like that.
It's a good idea.
And then your daughter goes, wow, he loves me. That's incredible that he would do that. Versus this thing about he's her stepdad, not a real dad, he left and all that kind of stuff. I would never, ever say that out loud again. I just call him Dad, always Dad.
Yeah, and that's how we are. I just wanted to explain that to you guys.
Yeah, okay. Good. Good.
And my husband, my husband has had one-on-one conversations with him, not out to eat, but he has called him into the garage and they have visited and explained our intentions for our daughter. Yeah. And I mean, it was right away. And we have talked to them multiple times, not multiple, I mean, a few times together and separate. Good. Because his family is very like, do whatever you want. Yeah. Go in the bedroom, shut the door. Because that's my husband, when he picked her up one day at his house, the parents invited him in. Well, they were in the bedroom sleeping with the door shut. Yeah. And
I would maybe be even specific to say, you know, I want to count on you that doesn't happen anymore. I think this is a good thing. And I think that, you know, rather than raise her in reaction to the way you were raised, let's back off of that a little bit and let's be creative and try to provide inspirational, motivational things for her to have integrity as well as him, knowing that nothing we do as parents ever is 100% going to prevent crummy stuff from happening. So I've got to pray a lot. We'll take a break. We'll come back for the final segment of New Life Live. We love being here with you.
My husband's been addicted to porn since he was 10 years old.
I found out about 9 months into my marriage that he has a porn addiction.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography. It might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Washington, D.C., November 12th through the 14th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly. and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. One final thing that we didn't really deal with. We will. Sheri, take it from here.
Well, I was hoping that we'd still have Amanda on the line because when I asked her the question, does your daughter know your story? We didn't really get to hear. It was kind of like there was this, and then,
Well, I don't think she does. I mean, I think that would be the assumption.
Right. Yeah. And truly, when we have these secrets from our kids that drive our behavior, when our kids, and she's 16.
And the son is older.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if he knows, too.
Maybe not. Mm-hmm. And there might be all this kind of wackadoodle behavior going on because, our anxiety is going up. But it might make sense for them to understand. But it almost feels counterintuitive to bring the bad stuff about our lives because we think somehow it's going to give them license. Well, hey, you had sex before. But actually, it can have a very different reaction because you're there as a witness to say, this is how my life changed forever. It went bad.
Right.
And I don't want that for you. I had heartache. Your aunts had heartache. And, it's more of, let me tell you what not to do because I failed in that. I hurt myself.
You're old enough to know, and this is why Mom gets anxious.
Exactly.
Right?
So,
and this is why I want to protect you.
So hopefully, Amanda, you'll hear the show.
Based in reality.
Right. All right, I want to go to the Outer Banks here of North Carolina. Let's talk to Jennifer, Club New Life member. Hi there. How are you, and how could we help? Don't have a lot of time, but I did want to get to your call.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And thank you to all of you. I've been a forever member back to Minrith Meyer Clinic, and you've helped so many times with Lifetime Solutions. But here's my question. Today, this just came up. Do I have to make a confession to my new neighborhood friend about not taking the COVID shot?
You told her that you had taken it, and when she had, or what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was we were taking a walk, first time, just met them, and she took me by the clubhouse, and we started to go in. She goes, "You've been vaccinated, right?" And I said, "I'm all set." And so I'm on a prophylaxis with ivermectin protocol, and so I've chosen not to take the shot. But it came so fast and furious, and I lied. There's no way to sugarcoat it, and I feel really bad.
How about this? When we first met, I just was so thrilled to have a new friend, and when you ask me this, instantly I don't want to cause a big conflict, and I didn't tell you the truth. I'm doing this thing, the protocol, and I haven't been vaccinated, and I am so sorry. If she can't forgive that honest kind of confession, I don't think it'll be a problem for you. I would do that. What do you guys think?
I know it's so minor. Yeah.
Jill, you have some thoughts about this. Maybe not tell her?
Well, because I think that we have thrown the right to privacy about our health just out the window.
I agree.
With this pandemic. And like what happened to HIPAA, right? And patients' privacy. And it's a very personal question, right?
Yep.
I mean, I was in an airport once sitting around a group of people, and this man asked me, turned around and asked me out of nowhere, and it's like I wasn't even talking to him. And another man piped up and said, "Don't you think that's really a personal question to ask a stranger?" And he was right.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this isn't a stranger. But
she didn't tell the truth, though.
She didn't say. That's true. You didn't.
She didn't say.
She said,
"Hey, I don't."
You
think
didn't say you were vaccinated. You said, "I'm all set." So it is. It's a sin of omission, right? It's hedging it a bit. So I think you have to weigh out the right to privacy and the audience, because this is something that is so divisive amongst people. So I'm on the fence with that one, Steve.
But she deceived her, and so that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And she didn't say, we just met. I'm really not comfortable talking about this. I'll just stay out here. You go in there. So that's it's beyond the issue. It's the truth kind of thing. Sheri, go ahead and.
But you know what? It's not minor. It's not minor. My in-laws, we're split right now because of the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even celebrating holidays or birthdays, or some family members haven't even seen new babies. It's a big deal. It's major. And I guess I want to appeal to all of us as New Life listeners on this. I want to say this. If you are dealing with fear about the vaccine, whether somebody you're walking with is vaccinated or unvaccinated, I just want to invite you to protect yourself. Do what you need to do to feel safe and comfortable in your own body. If you're going to be with someone, which might be wearing a mask. But please, let's work to refrain from putting our fear on somebody else to manipulate them and their choice. Everybody can make a decision, but there's so much. There's a lot of polarization in this, and
right.
with
I
HIPAA,
think it's a scary thing.
It is. It's got a life of its own, and we need to really be considerate of other people's choices. And I know it's not easy when fear is at the helm. It's like,
right.
But I would not come up to you, Jill, and say, "Have you had HPV?"
No.
Right.
I mean, my gosh, I would never ask that. I mean, I've exposed that I had HPV. I have it because of the sexual deception, but HIPAA and having boundaries around our health is something that is sacred, that the pandemic has just blown up on so many levels. You're right.
Well, I very few people, I'll get criticized for that, but listen to my main point. Very few people have, had complications percentage-wise. And so you can say, based on that, I'm going to do something different. Certainly people that have had COVID have these antibodies, or they're supposed to. There are all sorts of different things. My perspective is different because I have a doctor who I've gone to for several years who got COVID, and his left arm is paralyzed forever. And so I see that part of it too, that, I don't want this thing. And so I'm trying to make the best decision possible. And, I just think we need to give each other a lot of grace in whatever position someone's come to. Don't just assume that they're evil, that they're taking the mark of the beast. If they get vaccinated, that's one side, or they're letting the beast mark them another way if they don't, whatever. Let's just try to be understanding. This is tough decision, a lot of different perspectives, and they're brilliant people that think every different way in all of this, okay? Having said that, here's something that you don't need to differ about. We love helping people get better, and we want to help you, and you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we would love for you to help us help other people. And I think if you've listened for years, and if we ever come to your town, and you show up on a Sunday where people are talking about their experience at a New Life intensive, you would want to be part of what we're doing here. Because these stories are something. One guy this past weekend, he stood up and said, when I came here, I'd never heard of New Life. He said, I'm going to be a listener and a supporter forever. And he was in an engaged couples group. How cool was that 4 couples weren't married yet and came to try to get it right before they ate the all-destructive wedding cake, which tends to change everything. So help us if you can. 1-800-NEW-LIFE will send you Understanding and Loving Your Child That Smokes Pot. Don't forget Sheri's powerful book, Intimate Deception, Jill's most recent book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers. Call us if you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We love you here. Take care of yourself.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.